So this is my new Mac Mini M1. Really impressed with it. I'm happy with it. It's a 16 gigabit version. I did buy the 8 gigabits, but I decided to upgrade to the 16 just for future proofing because I don't intend to buy another computer for 6, 7 years, hopefully, unless the technology changed so drastically that makes it viable. This will be more than what I would ever use. I will never use this particular one to its limit, and that works fine for me. I needed a small form factor. Um, I have used Windows in the past. The last 7 years, I've been using a Windows PC that I built. You can look at some of my previous videos to see that build from 7 years ago, and that has worked great for me. But it was so massive that it took up too much space. I wanted to downgrade and simplify everything into something small like this. And because I grew up with Apple, I decided to go back to Apple, um, because they had just come out with a 16-inch laptop. I've always bought the Apple laptops, and I stopped buying Apples when they stopped making the Apple 17-inch MacBook Pros, and they only went to like a 13 and then a 15. I like the bigger screens, and because they recently came back with a 16-inch, it kind of intrigued me. But after 7 years of using a PC, I realized I wasn't using a laptop as much anymore because I was no longer in college. I don't travel like that where I need a laptop all the time. And with the wireless features nowadays, I could do everything from home. I could print at the office down, anywhere from anywhere in the world as long as the internet. And I do have a little laptop that I use that I bought off one of my kids for dirt cheap that I use occasionally for Zoom calls, Zoom meetings. I also have a tablet over here that I don't really use, one of older ones, and my Epson 3760 printer. But the overall setup that I have now, some of the stuff that I carried over from my PC, of course, is I have a QSC Touch Mix, a basic mouse, wired mouse, a Moltron keyboard. It has Windows stuff on it, but it seems to work fine with the Apple, so I still use it. And I've a Wacom touchpad here I could use as a mouse, but I primarily use it to sign documents. Um, and this setup is how I have. Of course, you have two studio monitors. They're JBL's 305s and an 18-inch powered subwoofer there, all connected through the mixer, plugged into um, the headphone jacks in the back of the Mac Mini. And this was a significant upgrade audio wise from the desktop that I built. Plus, it took up less space. There was no noise in the speakers anymore since transitioning to this. Um, which was what started this change anyway, because there was so much noise coming through my speakers when I tried to listen to music or watch a movie. It was ridiculous. But once I bought this and plugged it in, all the noise went away. So for me, that was that did it for me. I do use I prefer to use all wired stuff. So one of the limitations that I came across with this device, with the Mac Mini, is the lack of ports on the back. But for the price point, you know, it is what it is. It was still cheaper to buy this than to buy a laptop plus peripherals to get the same amount of features. This was significantly cheaper, plus, even by adding two expansion hubs at $100 a piece. Uh, I wish this monitor was a LG OLED TV, that is 55-inch TV that I use as my monitor. It worked great on my old computer. It works great on this computer. I wish this had some more HDMI ports on the back. Uh, also wish it had eARC as well. Not sure if it is eARC or not. No, I haven't really done research on it. I wish it had extra HDMI input for an external camera, which I intend to get one, eventually, so I can use this to do my Zoom meetings rather than my laptop. Wireless headphones. I have these that I got some years ago. the earbuds that seem to work fine. It works fine with it, but the earbuds tend to hurt my ears, so I prefer cans. These are kind of small. This is a cheap $5 ones from Five and Below. I'm looking to upgrade that to something that's a little bit bigger to fit over my ears a little more comfortably. So if you have any suggestions about that, let me know. Something Bluetooth preferably, but I still prefer wired if there's going to be lag and things like that. This is a Satechi or Sateki, however you want to pronounce it, expansion hub. I bought this hub mainly for the front headphone jack. It does have a M.2 storage space in it for an external hard drive, but I haven't used that yet because I thought I was going to return this when I bought the QuizLab. But the QuizLab, why I bought the QuizLab was because this has two internal drive bays for storage. But what it lacks is a front headphone jack, which the Satechi have. So I wish this had. If this had come with another jack for audio, I would have gladly returned this, and this would be the only one I use. In the QuizLab, I have two external drives. Inside it, the M.2 I use for all my stuff, storage stuff. The SATA drive, solid state drive I use for my Time Machine. And the reason why I went with this, why I preferred this one over this one for storage, because of those two bays. It allows me to store all my data without having external drives all over the place that have fallen in the past, fallen off the desk and broken and couldn't be used again, or got taken up by picked up by mistake, disappeared, things like that. Everything is clean. It's inside this device. It will never be picked up by mistake. It will never fall. I did have to use double stick tape on the feet of the QuizLab to hold it in place because it will slide around when plugging and unplugging things. So this, I would prefer devices like the QuizLab with a front headphone jack. Hopefully it'll do something like that. Maybe another hub might come out. Either Apple might add more jacks on the back, ports on the back, for like HDMI to inputs, HER. Put a headphone jack out front that will make this device more inclusive, so that way you won't have to buy some of these extra devices. Other than that, it works great. Something I would recommend. I don't really, everything is fairly clean the way it's set up right now. If you have any questions, ask it in the comment section down below. I don't know much about speeds and things like that because I will never use these machines at its fullest capacity. All I know is that it works. I can save my files. I could do my internet searches. I can watch movies, whatever I do on here, because I don't do production work. I'm a consumer more than a producer of anything, but so I can't really tell you about lags and things like that. I have noticed little lags here and there with the internet, but it's very rare. With as far as internet, that could be just a glitch. Who knows? But overall, it works great. It's something I recommend for small form factor. I prefer this QuizLab, but I definitely needed that front jack for my headphones. So if QuizLab is listening, hopefully the next one you build will have a front jack as well, and possibly some HDMI throughputs like the eARCs and things like that to make this a much better device. Like, subscribe, ask questions in the section down below. Put in your suggestions on how I could improve this stuff. I am looking for cameras, but I don't want to spend a crazy amount of money. I'm looking for a better head, like shotgun mic, as well, and something that I could plug from the camera, everything into the camera, and just plug one cord from the camera into the computer, and get good quality mic and audio and video into the machine. Wireless is fine as well, where I could transfer files but still plug in like the mics and so forth through either USB-C, USB, Thunderbolt, whatever this thing has. I prefer HDMI because it's simple to use. Put it in the comment section down below so I can do some research so I can see what works best for me. You all have a good day.